You're not tired, you're drained from constantly holding yourself back, always measuring your words, always being the peacemaker, always trying not to upset anyone. And for what? To be seen as a good person, to earn some invisible reward for being agreeable. You've carried this invisible burden for years, and the heaviest part isn't the work, it's the self-erasure, the silent swallowing of your anger, your desires, your voice. You were trained for this, taught that goodness means sacrifice. That kindness is saying yes, even when you're dying to say no. That being liked is more important than being respected. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The world doesn't reward good people. It exploits them. Think about it. Who gets the promotion? The one who quietly keeps everything running, or the one who speaks with authority and sets boundaries? If you enjoy this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Who gets respected in relationships? The one who always gives in, or the one who knows how to walk away? Your niceness isn't winning you admiration. It's making you invisible, predictable, replaceable. Because when you're always accommodating, always soft, always agreeable, people stop seeing you as a person. You become a tool, a cushion for their comfort, a background character in your own life. And the worst part, you smile through it. You say, it's fine. You even believe it, because deep down, you've been conditioned to feel guilty for wanting more. But ask yourself this. When did you decide that being good meant being silent? That kindness meant self-erasure? Because if you don't start questioning that definition now, you'll wake up 10 years from today, still exhausted, still overlooked, still wondering why nobody sees you. Here's the truth. The world doesn't respect what you tolerate. It respects what you demand. You weren't born like this. You didn't come into the world afraid to speak up, afraid to disappoint, afraid to take up space. You were trained into it, praised when you complied, punished, sometimes with silence, sometimes with guilt. When you didn't, be nice. Don't talk back. That's not how good boys behave. Good girls don't act like that. Sound familiar? They weren't trying to hurt you, but they were shaping you, molding you into someone easier to manage, easier to love, easier to control. So you learned the trade early. Approval in exchange for obedience, safety in exchange for silence. You became the polite child, the helpful one, the one who never made trouble. And little by little, you built an identity around being accepted. But acceptance came with a price, and the currency was always you. Forced smiles, hidden emotions, suppressed instincts, all in the name of being good. Now you're an adult who doesn't know how to say no without guilt, who over-explains everything to avoid being misunderstood, who apologizes just for existing too loudly. That's not empathy. That's fear in costume, fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being seen as selfish or difficult. But here's the brutal irony. The more you betray yourself to be accepted, the less you're truly seen. Because the version of you that the world claps for, the polite one, the accommodating one, isn't real. It's a carefully manufactured mask built for survival, and it's suffocating the real you. This isn't about blaming your past. It's about claiming your future. Because if you don't start breaking that childhood conditioning now, you'll keep shrinking for the comfort of others and calling it kindness. And trust me, that's not goodness. That's self-abandonment. You've been lied to, not maliciously, not with evil intent, but consistently and for so long that you stopped questioning it. You were told that being good was enough, that if you were kind, fair, honest, the world would naturally treat you the same. But the real world doesn't run on fairness. It runs on leverage. And here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud. Being good without boundaries isn't virtue. It's vulnerability. Look around. Who gets hurt in meetings? Who commands the room? Who sets the tone in relationships? It's not the ones who stay quiet to keep the peace. It's the ones who make others aware of their presence. Because the world doesn't respond to your intention. It responds to your impact. You can be the most loyal, generous, compassionate person in the room and still be ignored, dismissed, forgotten. Why? Because you've trained people to expect that you'll always be there, always available, always agreeable, and when something is always available, it stops being valuable. You've been playing the wrong game. While you were trying to win hearts, others were securing power. While you were avoiding conflict, others were drawing lines in the sand. And guess what? They're the ones who get respected, not because they're cruel, but because they're clear, because clarity, not niceness, is what earns respect. This isn't a call to become arrogant or aggressive. It's a wake-up call to stop expecting people to reward your silence, your suffering, your endless tolerance. The world doesn't clap for invisible heroes. It barely notices them. So here's the question you need to sit with tonight. Is your kindness being seen as strength or as softness to be exploited? Somewhere along the way, you were sold a false binary. You either be nice or you become an asshole. You either stay soft or you turn cold. Be loved or be feared. Be kind or be powerful. But here's the truth. You don't have to choose between betraying others or betraying yourself. You can be kind and still be untouchable. You can be generous and still be unshakable. You can love deeply and still have a spine. But that version of you doesn't come from people-pleasing. It comes from clarity. Clarity about your worth, your boundaries, what you will and will not accept. Niceness is reactive. It waits for others to define the terms. Power is intentional. It defines the terms and moves accordingly. Think of it this way. The fox sees the traps. The lion makes others think twice before laying them. Machiavelli said it best. To survive in this world, you must be both. The cunning to read people, the presence to command space, and most importantly, the courage to stop needing everyone's approval. Because here's the thing. If your goodness isn't strategic, it will be exploited. If your compassion isn't grounded in strength, it becomes weakness in disguise. And if your kindness is unconditional to everyone, then it's actually directionless. You're not here to be everyone's favorite flavor of harmless. You're here to live, lead, and love without needing to erase yourself. So let me ask you now, what if the version of good you were taught was never real goodness at all, but just a method to keep you small? Because true goodness doesn't require you to kneel. It requires you to rise, with your heart open and your spine straight. There's a cost to being good all the time, and you've been paying it with pieces of yourself. At first, it's small. You say yes when you mean no. You swallow frustration to avoid sounding difficult. You let things slide because it's not worth the drama, but it adds up. Soon, you stop recognizing your own preferences. You don't even know what you want anymore, only what would make things easier for others. That's not maturity, that's erasure. And here's the tragedy. The people around you start to believe that version is the real you, the agreeable one, the one who always smiles, the one who's so easygoing. But behind that mask, exhaustion, resentment, silent rage, a quiet scream building day after day, never loud enough to break the illusion. Because the more you give without return, the more invisible you become. And the more invisible you become, the harder it is to remember you ever had a voice to begin with. This is what self-abandonment looks like. And it's not noble. It's not spiritual. It's not kind. It's a form of slow death, emotional, mental, and eventually even physical. Here's the brutal truth. You can't keep showing up for everyone else while constantly disappearing on yourself. Every time you say yes out of guilt, you reinforce the belief that your needs don't matter. Every time you stay silent to keep the peace, you declare that your peace is negotiable. So here's your invitation. Simple but revolutionary. Say no, just once, to something you usually accept out of habit, out of fear, out of guilt, not to hurt anyone, but to prove to yourself that you still exist. And once you feel that spark, you'll realize being good never required your silence, only your truth. You don't need to become cruel to stop being invisible. You don't need to burn your heart to stop being used. What you need is to remember who the hell you are when you're not trying to be liked. Because here's the truth, no one tells the nice ones. Your problem was never your kindness. It was your lack of boundaries around it. You gave too much to people who gave nothing back. You tolerated too long what should have been confronted. You confused being agreeable with being valuable. And now you're angry, not at them, but at you. For betraying yourself, for choosing peace over your own dignity, for staying small to keep others comfortable. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay that way. You can reclaim your strength, not by becoming hard, but by becoming honest. You can still be kind, but that kindness starts with you. It looks like this. Say no without explanation. Speak up when something crosses the line. Stop apologizing for needing space, time, rest, truth. Will it shake people? Yes. Will some fall away? Definitely. But let them. Because anyone who only loved you when you were quiet wasn't loving you. They were using your silence. From now on, your kindness has rules. It has limits. It has direction. You don't exist to be palatable. You exist to be real. And real people, grounded, honest, self-respecting people, don't need to beg for space. They walk into a room and create it. So here's the final question. Are you still trying to be loved by everyone? Or are you finally ready to be free? Because if you are, the door's been open this whole time. You just have to stop asking for permission to walk through it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.